G'day, Greg HEARN, the financial physicist. I'm here today in Pambula, which is just near where I live, and I'm actually in Panbula, slightly different spelling, wetlands, which is a wildlife conservation area. As I just pan around a little bit, and you'll see it's effectively a bird sanctuary. It's a wetland. Yeah, it's a beautiful place to walk around and be in. So I thought I'd do my little YouTube video here. Now, first of all, my YouTube channel has gone live. So I have 2 subscribers. I'd love 10 by the end of the week. So subscribe down here, please. Nothing would give me more joy. So yeah, that's one. I want to talk to you about 2 things. First of all, there's been a bit of talk about the banks, mainly in the US, that have collapsed this week, or last week, or through the week, I suppose, and where they're at. There's a couple of things to remember about the difference between Australian banks, and I have been asked this by a few people this week, Australian banks and the US banking system. Number one, we have about 50, 70 banks, something like that. In the US, there's over 8,000 banks. They're all little community banks, and so they don't, what's the word? They don't operate like we do, and so they have, just local people running them, and clearly they make some interesting decisions. That Silicon Valley Bank was basically a venture capital fund for Silicon Valley, but they invested in really long-term bonds and had no way cashing out of them. So yeah, so that's one. The other one, I can't remember the name, but that was that's actually now been bailed out by the bigger banks in America to the tune of $30 billion. So they understand the importance of the supporting those regional banks, and so that should bring some more confidence. Will it affect our interest rates? I don't think so. The RBA know that, and they know it's coming. So yeah, it's not something I'd be worried about. The other thing I want to talk to you about is actually our unemployment rate. Of course, that fell again this week. That will put pressure upwards on interest rates, which is not what anyone wants to hear. I have been saying now for a few weeks, I thought we'd have a pause in April and a rise in May, and then probably nothing else for the rest of the year. My gut feel says we'll now actually have an increase in April and May, and hopefully nothing else for the rest of the year. That should put people on their mortgages. And I know the banks, they talk about the cash rate. The cash rate means nothing to you in the public. So for an average owner-occupier home loan, you should now be paying about 5.3. If you get less than that's great. If you're a little bit over, that's okay. But if you're in the 5.6, 5.7, or over 6, bloody hell, put your hand up and ring me. We're trying to keep on top of it. But I have a lot of you out there, so yeah. So check your rates, please. Have a look. So yeah. So my thoughts are top rate about 6 would actually knock us out in terms of the economy. Would really slow the economy down. The interesting thing, and I hope to write a blog piece about this next week, is when it starts to fall, which I think will happen from December. Will the banks pass on the 0.25 rate reductions? I actually don't think they will. They're greedy bastards. We've had some issues this week or last month or so with Macquarie, and we're having conversations with them. Yeah, the banks are inherently greedy. They're trying to make profit for their shareholders, which a lot of you are because you have super funds. But seriously, it is hurting in the economy. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Peace out. Don't forget to subscribe.